Buying used always feels like the smart play. You skip the brutal depreciation, grab a car that looks just as sharp as it did new, and pay a fraction of the original sticker. Sounds like a win, right? But here's the catch. In the US used market, some of those steals are nothing more than money pits in disguise. They look good under the dealership lights, they feel solid on a test drive, and the salesman has a smooth story about only highway miles. Yet once you get them home, the truth shows up fast. Massive repair bills, endless electrical problems, and mechanical failures so common they're practically built into the car's DNA. What's worse is how deceptive they are. These aren't obscure models you've never heard of. We're talking about cars with household names. Luxury sedans, family SUVs, even American icons. Vehicles that promise prestige and comfort, but end up chaining their owners to mechanics and draining savings accounts across the country. So in this countdown, we're pulling the cover off 7 used cars that can bankrupt you in repairs. If you've ever been tempted by one of these dream deals, buckle up, because the reality might change the way you shop forever. Number 7. Audi Q7. The Audi Q7 is the kind of SUV that makes American families dream big. 3 rows of seats, elegant German design, and a badge that suggests you've made it. On the surface, it looks like the ideal upgrade from a minivan or mainstream crossover. But when these SUVs hit the US used market, they reveal their darker side. The timing chain system is the most infamous weak point. When it stretches or fails, the repair can swallow $6,000 to $8,000, more than some people's entire budget for a used car. And that's only the beginning. High-pressure fuel pumps go bad, valve cover gaskets leak oil, and electrical gremlins turn everyday drives into stress tests. Owners complain about infotainment screens going dark, suspension sensors that make the SUV sit lopsided, and backup cameras that cut out right when you need them. Even the basics sting. A brake job can cost nearly double compared to a Ford Explorer, and routine service requires hours of labor thanks to cramped engine bays. US mechanics often roll their eyes when a Q7 shows up because they know the luxury deal is about to turn into a marathon repair. Carfax reports show a pattern of repeat visits, often for the same expensive systems, long before the odometer hits 100,000 miles. Insurance premiums are also higher than average, since claims on luxury parts skyrocket repair costs, making this SUV even more punishing to keep on the road. The Q7 may look like a smart way to enter the luxury SUV club, but in reality it's a long-term drain on your wallet. And if that sounds painful, just wait until we move to an American sedan that lures buyers with a bargain price, but hides some of the ugliest repair bills you'll ever see. Number 6. Chrysler 300. The Chrysler 300 is one of those cars that dazzles on the lot. Big stance, bold grille, plush seats, and used prices that often dip under $12,000. It feels like a cheat code for affordable luxury in the US. But that bargain sticker hides a slow, relentless drain on your wallet once the miles add up. The 3.6 Pentastar Obama 6 is everywhere, and so is its weak spot. Rocker arm and lifter failures that start as a faint tick and end as costly top-end surgery. Step up to the 5.7H EMI and you trade one gamble for another. Camshaft and lifter collapse is well documented, with repairs commonly landing in the $3,500 to $5,000 range. Transmissions pile on the risk. Harsh shifts, slipping, or outright failures can show up before 120,000 miles, turning a deal into a tow truck call. Then comes death by 1,000 cuts. Alternators burn out early, window regulators quit, and Uconnect loves to freeze at the worst time. Suspension bushings and ball joints wear fast, causing clunks and feathered tires. Alignment never seems to stay put. None of these jobs alone is exotic, but the frequency is brutal, and labor isn't cheap at US rates. Pull up a Carfax and you'll often see a thick stack of visits for the same systems repeating. Engine tick, transmission complaints, electrical gremlins. Insurance isn't kind either. Frequent claims and pricey parts nudge premiums higher than you'd expect for a sedan this old. The result is an ownership curve that climbs steeply after purchase, eating the savings you thought you locked in. So yes, the 300 looks like a shortcut to big car swagger. In practice, it's a slow leak you barely notice until the puddle reaches your shoes. Next up is an SUV that doesn't nibble at your budget. It can take a colossal bite in a single failure. Seriously. Number 5. Range Rover Sport. Few SUVs in America carry the same aura as the Range Rover Sport. It's the kind of vehicle that turns heads at a stoplight, a status symbol parked outside country clubs and downtown restaurants. On the used market, prices slide just enough to tempt buyers who dream of luxury at a discount. But once you sign the papers, you quickly learn why so many of these end up back on the lot. Because owning one out of warranty is like financing someone else's vacation home. The air suspension is the first killer. It's a signature feature delivering that smooth, floating ride. But when it fails, and it often does, you're staring at $3,000 or more just to get the SUV level again. If multiple components go out, the bill skyrockets. Then there are the differentials and transfer cases, which frequently fail before 100,000 miles. Each repair can cost the equivalent of a decent used sedan. Add transmission quirks and oil leaks to the mix, and you've got a luxury SUV that acts more like a ticking time bomb. Electronics bring their own chaos. Owners report key fobs refusing to sync, infotainment screens freezing, and endless warning lights lighting up the dash like a Christmas tree. Even routine jobs sting. Oversized tires, premium fluids, and brake systems built for weight and performance mean you're paying double or triple what a Ford Explorer owner would for the same maintenance. Carfax reports across the US show a clear pattern. Range Rover Sports with pages of repeated shop visits, often for suspension and drivetrain failures. Some owners give up after just a year, trading the SUV in once the repair bills exceed what they still owe. Driving a Range Rover Sport feels like living the dream, until it's your turn to pay for that dream. And while British luxury is punishing, the next German SUV proves it can be just as devastating to an American wallet. Number 4. Mercedes-Benz ML/GLE. On paper, the Mercedes-Benz ML, later renamed the GLE, feels like a jackpot on the used lot. For under $25,000, you're getting a German luxury SUV that originally sold for nearly double. Leather seats, advanced safety tech, and that three-pointed star on the grille make it look like you've beaten depreciation. But in the US, these models have a long history of draining bank accounts once they're out of warranty. The air suspension is one of the biggest culprits. A single failure can run $2,500 to $4,000, and if multiple struts or the compressor go out, the bill can balloon past 5 figures. The 7-speed automatic transmission is another weak link, developing hard shifts and fault codes that usually lead to costly rebuilds. Add in cooling system failures, radiators, water pumps, hoses, and you're looking at a steady stream of 4-figure repairs. Then there's the electronics. The Command infotainment system is infamous for freezing or blacking out. Seat modules stop adjusting, power tailgates jam, and sensor errors stack up until your dashboard looks like an arcade game. Even minor jobs cost far more than they should. An oil change that's $60 on a Toyota Highlander can be $300 or more on a Mercedes, thanks to specialized fluids and longer labor times. Look up a Carfax report on a used ML or GLE, and you'll often find multiple pages of repeated service entries, proof that these SUVs spend as much time in shops as they do on the road. Insurance premiums also skew higher because repair costs drive up claim values. So yes, you can buy one cheap and enjoy a taste of German luxury. But owning one long-term in the US is less about prestige and more about paying a steady tax to the repair shop. And while Mercedes hurts, the next luxury sedan on our list shows that even American elegance can collapse under the weight of its own repair bills. Number 3. Cadillac CTS. Picture this. A driver in Ohio walks onto a used car lot, spots a shiny Cadillac CTS, and thinks he just found a hidden gem. Sharp styling, luxurious interior, and a price that undercuts German rivals by thousands. It feels like a win. But a few months later, reality hits hard. The 8-speed automatic transmission begins to shudder and jerk, turning every drive into a guessing game. By the time the mechanic delivers the verdict, the repair bill lands between $4,000 and $6,000. And that's not the only trap. Owners across the US complain about electrical chaos. Infotainment screens delaminate and freeze, door locks stop working, and power seats lose adjustment. Add in V6 timing chain issues, coolant leaks, and suspension parts that wear out too early, and the CTS starts to look less like luxury and more like liability. Even headlights are a nightmare. Each one can cost more than $1,000, and replacements are alarmingly common. Check Carfax histories, and you'll see page after page of repeated service visits, proof that this isn't just bad luck, it's baked into the ownership experience. For many Americans, buying a CTS feels like getting away with a luxury deal, until the repair bills remind them why the price was so low. The Cadillac may be America's luxury badge, but the next SUV proves that even icons of American ruggedness can turn into financial sinkholes once the miles start piling up. Number 2. Jeep Grand Cherokee. The Jeep Grand Cherokee is one of America's best-selling SUVs, and for good reason. It looks tough, feels upscale, and promises go-anywhere versatility. But on the used market, it's a classic case of buyer beware. Both the 3.6 Pentastar Vive 6 and the 5.7 Hemi V8 are magnets for expensive problems. The Pentastar is notorious for rocker arm and lifter failures that cause a ticking noise, eventually leading to major engine work. The HEMI, camshaft and lifter collapse is common, and repair costs can land in the $3,500 to $5,000 range. Then there's the transmission. Countless U.S. owners report hard shifting, slipping, or total failure well before 120,000 miles. Electronics aren't any kinder. ABS modules fail, crankshaft sensors go bad, and Uconnect touchscreens freeze when you need them most. Even the suspension is short-lived, with premature bushing and ball joint wear that leads to clunks and uneven tire wear. Pull up a Carfax on a used Grand Cherokee, and you'll often see a thick record of drivetrain and electrical repairs, sometimes within just a few years. What should be a dependable family SUV ends up being a recurring guest at your local mechanic's shop. The Grand Cherokee sells you on rugged freedom and American pride, but owning one used can feel like paying monthly installments to your repair shop. And now we reach the top of the list. A German flagship sedan that looks like a six-figure dream, but for used buyers, it's pure financial devastation. Number 1. BMW 7 Series. The BMW 7 Series is the car that defines German luxury. When new, it's the CEO's choice. Quiet cabins, cutting-edge tech, power on tap, and comfort that rivals a private jet. But in the US used market, this flagship turns into the ultimate money trap. Prices collapse fast, making them look like dream deals. That illusion vanishes the moment the first warning light pops up. The air suspension is notorious for failing, often costing $3,000 to $5,000 to put right. The advanced ZF automatic transmissions, praised when new, begin to slip and fail, leading to rebuilds north of $6,000. And then there's the mountain of electronics. Soft close doors that stop closing, adaptive headlights that flicker out, massaging seats that suddenly quit. Each of these luxuries becomes a $1,000 headache once out of warranty. Even simple jobs, alternators, water pumps, thermostats, are brutally expensive because of labor complexity. American mechanics joke that a used 7 Series isn't a car, it's a subscription service, except you're paying your shop instead of Netflix. Check Carfax reports and you'll see a pattern. Owners who give up after sinking thousands into repeated repairs. For many, the 7 Series is less about driving luxury and more about surviving the financial storm that follows. Buying one used might feel like stepping into prestige. In reality, it's like strapping yourself to a financial time bomb, just waiting to go off. So there you have it. 7 used cars that look tempting but can wreck your finances. They shine on the lot, they impress your neighbors, and they promise comfort and status. But once you dive into the real cost of ownership here in the US, the story changes. Blown suspensions, dead transmissions, and repair bills that climb faster than the miles on the odometer. Buying used can be smart, but only if you know which models to avoid. Don't let a cheap sticker price blind you to the hidden traps waiting under the hood. A little research can save you thousands, and that's exactly why we make these videos. To keep American drivers one step ahead of the mistakes dealers would love you to make. Now it's your turn. Have you ever owned one of these money pits? Or maybe you dodged the bullet at the last second. Drop your story in the comments, because your experience could save someone else a fortune. If this breakdown helped, hit that like button, subscribe for more no-nonsense car advice, and ring the bell so you never miss the next video. And share this with a friend who's out car shopping right now. You might just save them from the worst purchase of their life.